sunken on my lips. 'Cause let it stay this way for as long as we're alive. No matter how long that may be, it doesn't matter, we could fuck or cry. I don't lie, I never lie, but maybe I can be a little bit dishonest. Would never lie to you, you know me too well, don't be so modest. I would never lie to you, you know me too well, don't be so modest.
Late last night, I was stumbling around, searching for your residence. Hold her back in a southeast wind, led me to your feet. This old soul has found a heart of white. This old soul has found a heart of white. Time went by while we're outside, running the fields of blue. Sunset sail and the sky dim down, and all of time stood still. This old soul, this old soul has found a heart of white. This old soul, this old soul has found a heart of white. Years went by, but you wouldn't know. You were always by my side. It's only been 10 years, got so many more. Here's to you and I. This old soul, this old soul has found a heart of white. This old soul, this old soul has found a heart of white. Alright.
You keep on taking, I keep on breaking. You keep on taking, till there's nothing left. You started out slow with my breath, moved all throughout my chest. You charmed my heart, you grabbed my soul, and soon there'll be nothing left.
I'm just trying to find the floor. Can't take the falling anymore.
The ground beneath the basement keeps on crashing down below, but I just keep on searching for the floor. You keep on taking, I keep on breaking. You keep on taking, till there's nothing left. You slowly seeped into my mind. Blood rushed through time. You started taking things, you started breaking things, and soon there'll be nothing left.
I'm just trying to find the floor. Can't take the falling anymore.
The ground beneath the basement keeps on crashing down below, but I just keep on searching for the floor. I
trying to find the floor. Can't take the falling anymore.
Till there's nothing left.
You're safe, way beyond the world, way beyond the world. You're safe, way beyond the world, way beyond the world. You're safe, way beyond the world, way beyond the world.
I'm sitting here all alone. Energy is on reserve. I know I got some things to do. I hope that I can find the nerve. My honey, I don't wanna run. A lot of me is stuck in place. I'm half of all the things I claim. They leave me with a bitter taste. A million more days ago. A million that I see behind. The meaning behind it all. So something that I need to find, or maybe have it redefined. But why do I need to know? And nothing is all I'm messed up with. It satisfies my soul. I hate that my mind can race. I feel like I always lose. Or maybe it just tell me lies. Or maybe it was all the rules. And none of this should really count when anyone can make the rules. We arbitrarily assigned, indoctrinated at the schools. Now go ahead and be yourself, exactly how we taught you to. There's gotta be another option. I gotta try and make a move. My spirit need to find escape, if only for another day. The sky would open up its mouth, parting all the clouds. I can hear it say,
You're safe, way beyond the world, way beyond the world. You're safe, way beyond the world, way beyond the world. You're safe, way beyond the world, way beyond the world. You're safe, way beyond the world, way beyond the world. They ask if my tripping out days are behind. I still get caught in my mind. Driving down 99. A ghost is born, killing time. Sacrifice everything that brought me down. Bear the cross and hit the ground. Running my mouth once or twice. It's got me in trouble, but I don't wanna have to wake up again. Feeling down for putting you down. I don't wanna have to wake up again. Feeling down. Gonna get up and we're gonna get down. Way beyond the world, way beyond the world, way beyond the world.
you're still by my side, and I don't understand it. 'Cause I lived through the days that you keep me awake, and your eyes start to wander up my sleeve. September, and I can hardly still remember what it's like for you and I to say goodnight. Blink, it's mid-October, and I feel I'm getting older. Take me back to the first week of July.
Let's see what we look like, bro. Oh, the camera's stuck. Oh no. All right, we're here for real now. We're here for real.
Nice.
Look at that. Yo, we had a little knockout by Self Doubt playing, leading us in. We just had them on yesterday, at least Jordan.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it was sick. Oh, let's kick it out of there. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm doing great, actually.
Yeah, on this rainy Wednesday, bro.
I didn't dress appropriately. I was like getting drenched out there.
Yeah, I saw you coming in with your like soft shell case, and I knew there was like an acoustic inside. I'm like, we got to get this guy in ASAP.
It was nice earlier, but yeah, I don't know what happened. But
you know, it's weird. We've had these spring days, and then they go straight back to rain. So I don't know what to believe. I'm just going with the I'm going with the flow.
I love the rain, so I'm down with it. It's cool.
I feel like a lot of your songs are like rainy day weather songs. Bro. Dyed in the Wool says, let's go. Yo, thank you guys for tuning in. Feel free to say hi in the chat. I'm going to send you guys a little heart. But yeah, man, Zach Zeller, we've been talking a lot before we got on stream, but one thing I wanted to say is I've just been wanting an opportunity to talk to you, man, because you're making cool music.
Thanks, man.
You're collaborating a bunch. You got like a sweet podcast. I pulled it up and I'm like, you just had Davey Legend on. I got to listen to that. I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. Yeah, it's cool that you're doing this. I've watched all your episodes, get caught up, and it's just neat. Like, there's so much cool stuff going on in Reading right now, and yeah, with the podcast, I kind of started that with, like I see you at shows and we get to talk, but there's not always an opportunity to have like a nice, long, extended conversation.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, and I think like, for me as a creative, and probably for you as a creative, it's kind of fun to not only open the door for those conversations, but also do it in a way where we're kind of creating something too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and this is really cool because you get to interact with people. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite parts. So as people trickle in, make sure to say hi. We got a couple people hanging out with us though, which is fun. Yeah, man.
How have you been? What's new with you? I saw you at the Dip maybe a week or two ago.
Yeah, I think that might have been for Soul Punch.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Dude, I've been good. That was a great show. And backtracking for a second, speaking of just like all the things going on around town, not only are there like a lot of different things like music and theater and visual artists and murals going up, but there's also like a lot of music, and within that music, there's a bunch of different types of music.
Yeah.
We've got, so many different places you can record. You have these like kind of underground artists recording these sort of kind of folky, kind of more acoustic oriented tracks, but then you're also playing in like a really cool rock band. And then you have folks recording with Jesse Lawson down the road, getting that more, alternative rock thing going, or Bruce, I forget what his last name is, who
Yeah.
records a lot of folks in town. And then you got Cleveland Bonet, who's chilling in Soul Punch, and he
Yeah.
has Clevie Be Good Studios. And then you have Calvin Sunday Studios down the street. And shoot, my little place is open if you want to plug in a guitar and sing.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much.
There really is. It's cool. And that's what's neat. There's always been in Reading like these different pockets of the music scene, but really, and I'm not like exaggerating when this really is like the most cohesive and like collaborative I've seen it, where people are hanging out from different, these little different siloed groups, which I think it really makes the community stronger when you kind of work together. And
It almost made me a little nervous, like, even creating something like this. I was worried that, like, there's two ways, there's an infinite number of ways to look at it, but I think two of the extreme ones are, like, somebody's like trying to step on my toes, or it's like the opposite, which I lean towards, which is like the rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah,
Like we're, especially if we're fostering community and working together, which I think is
Totally.
the whole point.
Yeah, no, that's totally true. I think, at least from my interactions and experience, like, I haven't had one situation where it felt like I was stepping on anyone's toes. Like, maybe I'm just going through life that way, but yeah, everyone seems very responsive and like supportive.
The only situation I've had is when I like accidentally picked up somebody else's guitar pick and they were just like looked at me kind of funny. No, like literally nothing like that. Just total support.
Yeah.
So you asked me how I've been doing.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been working really hard, but I've also been chilling pretty hard.
That's good.
I'm trying to find that work-life balance.
That's hard to find. Yeah, it is. Especially because you just got done with your play, right? And so that was like it's a big deal. Like putting all that energy and time into it, and then to just stop.
Yeah, so I filled it with this. Sorry, I'm not really hearing myself well, but I created this because I knew there was gonna be this gap, and I didn't really let myself relax as much as I probably should have.
Yeah.
Because I know myself, and if I'm not working on something, like there's moments where I'm tired, but it's like, how many times have you been tired and then you've showed up to the gig or the band practice or even just the friend you said you were going to hang out with, and then you just kind of, life sort of made sense again.
Totally. That's I've been working on that, trying to have balance in my life, and I found, if I get a lot of music stuff going on, usually like 1 or 2 days, and then I'm like ready to go again. Just chill and then get back at it, because I like to stay busy as well, and like I have a bunch of shows coming up, and even thinking about it, I'm like, that's a lot. But I think if I just take it one day at a time, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I've been doing that wholeheartedly just this entire week at work ever since I came back from Boston. It felt like I was a week behind.
Yeah.
And there's been this overwhelming urge to catch up and get everything done.
Right.
But one of my favorite sayings is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm looking at this elephant of a world the rest of my life, but even just like the immediate month or two. I know there's some shows coming up that I have to like run a lot of cable for and like tech and stuff. And I'm just like, how many times have I run these same XLRs and then rolled them back up again and put them away?
There's something about the because I try really hard to stay in the present and not dwell too much in the past, or like get super pumped for what's going to happen in the future, because you really don't get to appreciate just what's happening like in this moment. And that's with everything, especially in like when you're in a creative endeavor, like in the studio or playing the show live, like really just appreciating it. So
dude, that's 100% it. Like when you mentioned the Elephant Man, like I'm going to try and reminisce in the present. Like what made that show so special was the amount of times where I would just sort of like, it was the opposite feeling of what I feel like I experience most of the time, which is not being present and then being like, oh, I'm present. It was I would be shocked when I felt like I wasn't present, because like being present in the show became the new normal.
Yeah.
That was like a weird backwards way to get to that.
Were you able to take that into like your day-to-day life, like while you're in that state?
A little bit, yeah. I now remember and know what that feels like, and yeah, I've been doing it with music and life. Like I went on like a week-long trip with a group of people that I've probably never spent a day with, more at a time, hanging out with the band, going to Boston. And the amount of times I just sort of was like, I just kind of let it all go. I'm like I'm getting a little too stressed about what's X number of miles away on the other side of the United States, and just kind of found ways to become present again. And I find it when I'm like playing a really good song or something. It's like the song ends and you're kind of like, did I just play that?
Right. Yeah.
And like, I think I did, and I think it was really good because I wasn't thinking about it.
Yeah, that is the best state when like I say this with friends and stuff, like when you're I love recording in the studio. It's like one of my favorite things. And when you're like, oh my god, I just spent like 6 hours just went by and I was just doing whatever, but like you just lose track of time because you're so in the moment of creating whatever the thing is. And that's like the best feeling because you're not conscious of it,
That's gotta be I don't think I've ever had a 6 hour holy crap, I've been in the studio moment. I gotta get some more studio time in, bro. That's next level.
Well, I just run out of my place. So you got the setup. It's just doing the thing,
It's just doing the thing. Yeah. Well, I do plan on it.
You have a great setup, by the way.
And I've just bought kind of some more adapters and equipment to sort of power amplify more inputs and microphones, so I could do like stereo condensers with direct ins and like get some cool sounds that really make it feel like you're in the room, which I'm hoping
I love that. That's the whenever I'm working on stuff, like I love that kind of capturing the energy of the room, the space that you're creating in. And so like at my place I try to keep it very homey and have incense and sage and like kind of have like an experience. And I think that really does shine through in the music, keep it warm. And still like I love just sort of like lo-fi sound and stuff. Kind of like the first Bon Iver album, that's kind of like something I always try to strive for. Like it's a great album.
And I think a lot of us have kind of heard the story that he just like recorded it, at home or whatever the deal was.
Yeah, just he had one mic or whatever. And I mean a lot of great albums they use minimal equipment and but it's just great songwriting.
Yeah, great songwriting. So
you don't have to have the best setup. You just have to have like the will to do it, and you just do it.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, that's kind of what's happening here is it doesn't really matter. This is capturing it, and if the energy is there, dude, that album is so good. And yesterday Jordan McLaughlin, somebody in the chat asked him to like show off his tattoos. And he had the Bon Iver one.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So cool.
Yeah,
dude, I think I was I remember when I'm trying to pinpoint how old I was. It's just a quick Google search away, but I definitely remember just finding that album and it blowing my mind. You could listen to it like 1,000 times and it was almost like unintelligible for me. Like it almost felt like I couldn't even understand the words if I remember correctly.
Right.
But it was just, there was, and I also remember like an interview of him talking about like using less like vocal effects on his future records and actually trying to pull away from that too and stuff like that.
It's funny, like sometimes I'll try to think like, whenever I'm writing my own music, just like kind of the aesthetic or the sound that I'm going for. And then I'm so drawn, I don't know why, I'm trying to figure it out, but I'm really drawn to like things that are a little rough around the edges in whatever genre that is. But I think that's why I liked that album a lot. I really liked like Elliott Smith's earlier stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's just like really basic but it sounds like you're in the room with them, and it's like that human connection.
Yeah.
You could have the best setup. If he had like the nicest mic, it wouldn't sound like that.
Yeah.
You know? It's the fact that he's using, you know, minimal stuff. It's like, I don't know. I love it.
It's like the ultimate like inspiration story
Yeah,
for any artist out there, for any
anyone
musician.
can do it. Anyone can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's inspired me a number of times, and there's some other artists that have also done things like that. Or I'll watch like did you hear that guy that kind of went viral on YouTube a little bit of? He wrote the song like Rich Men North of Richmond. It was
No.
Oliver Anthony.
No.
This guy blows up on YouTube, and he writes this song called Rich Men North of Richmond, and it's just a video of him outside, and he's playing his like acoustic guitar, but it's one of those like ones that has like those like steel pans on it.
Right, yeah.
Resonator or whatever.
Yeah.
He's playing one of those, and he has a microphone, man, and it's just him there, and this thing takes off, and now he's playing country festivals, and
That's sick.
he's on Joe Rogan, and he's just kind of like making the circuit, and it was a line out from a guitar and a mic in, and a great performance, and a pretty background. Like he captured what it was to be outside with the dogs and the truck and do the song about rich men taking control of, you know, like the hardworking people.
Yeah.
And he wrote it in a way that resonated with everybody.
Yeah.
It like either pissed you off, or for most people that are under some form of oppression in this world, they all just fucking ate it up, man, and it was perfect.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's what's so cool about just social media and the internet. Like, people have that avenue. People that didn't have a voice to get their music out there before, now it's just, you know, Wild West, and it's just neat to hear all these different voices. Like, I try to, you know, stay up with new music, and there's just so much out there, and there's so much like good music out there. You know,
Dude,
it's overwhelming, but it's like it's a good feeling to be overwhelmed with too much good music.
Yeah, I remember like day one of me putting together my little Spotify playlist of the people I knew locally. It was a blast, and I got like 40 songs on there.
Yeah.
But it's been a few weeks, and I haven't really done another dive. I've like looked at what you've kind of curated and stuff, and I'm like, okay, there's even more. And
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like hard to keep up with just local music that's being released. It's great, and that's what's really cool too, is there's so many different genres, and like people writing great songs in all these different styles. And I just hope that, you know, through mediums like this and just going to shows, that people get exposed to everything.
Yeah,
just locally, because it's literally here within like 15 miles radius.
Yeah, and that's why I was kind of excited to have you on, because you know, I've met a lot of people that know you, and then like, you know, I went and saw a show, and I think it was like, you know, you finished, and I was like, holy crap, and I saw Carly Jean, and I was like, they're so good, like they're gonna put out a record, I'm gonna buy it. And she's like, best rock band in Reading. And I was like
Nice.
Wait, what? I didn't know about them. How'd this happen? And I know that I have like a bunch of friends that haven't necessarily like heard your music yet. And I'm sure you have plenty of friends that have no idea who the hell I am. And like, what's this guy doing here? And not that everybody needs to know who we are, but it does provide exposure to, I think, a portal to really great music. The stuff that you're working on.
Oh, thanks, man. No, that's, I think it's neat to make those guys I was talking earlier, like just going to shows and meeting people and making connections, because really, like, I've met so many different people. Like, everything that I try to do, I try to incorporate others that are local. So like, you know, videos or album art, like I try to do a local source of all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a very collaborative thing. And that's the way I've always tried to go about my music. And but yeah, it's there's so many people doing great things that you just have to look around, ask questions, and you meet new people. It's like I met you through, you know, going to shows.
Just going to shows. Yeah. Man, this isn't coming through at all, man. Can you hear me pretty well?
I can hear you good.
Okay, cool, sweet. I just wanted to make sure because it's not coming through. These are pretty beat up, which is actually why I've been tossing those that way. I don't want,
thanks.
yeah.
I was just say it sounds very good in mine.
Oh, love it, man. That's sick. Yeah, lots of. I've been doing the same thing. I've only really thrown like a couple shows around town, I've like worked a lot at the theater, and you know, like found ways where I've been like collaborating with other people. But I threw this fun show at Fratelli's a while back, and I just invited all. I have like this Grateful Dead. I played with Don. And we had all these friends playing, and I invited one friend to be an opener, and he ended up drumming, and I had invited another friend to play a song, and she ended up singing with the band at the end.
That's cool.
And all these people were playing together, and all these people came out, and I'm sure, and everyone was buying pizza and beer, and I was just so happy because it just, you know, when you're doing it right, a collective gathering of people, it's like just like a big safe place where we all come together and we kind of lift ourselves up with music, and we have fellowship, you know. I'm not even like a religious guy, but I definitely know that like getting together with your friends and breaking bread and having a drink, there's just nothing like it.
There isn't. And that's the thing is, I think that's one of the big reasons why I just love doing music is the community aspect of it. And it is like, there's nothing better than going to a show, like being in the pit, or, you know, like, or hanging out, having a beer, and just listening to great music, having conversations, because it's the music that brings everyone together, and it's like this shared experience. And, you know, it's that one time that you're gonna all be together, seeing that one lineup, and it's just a shared thing that I feel is very important to experience.
Yeah. Well, what gigs do you have coming up?
Oh man, so there's gonna be, I'm playing at quite a few shows here in town, kind of getting ready for a tour in June and July. So I think the next show is April 13th. Actually playing the Red City Zine Fest at Old City Hall, and then later that evening playing a show at Temple Music. So doubleheader.
Later that same evening, bro. What time are you up at the Zine Fest? Do you know?
I want to say it was like 1:30 or 2, something like that. And I'm doing a split set with Willa. I don't know if you've heard Willa's music.
Yeah.
So we're
like a ghost.
Yeah. So we're gonna do that song, and then she's a great like pianist, and so she's gonna play some piano and sing, and should be fun.
Dude. Yeah, I'm and I'll be there on the 13th. Are you? So you're playing so it's not Bell to Beast in the evening. It's you.
Yeah.
That's cool though. That's cool.
Yeah, all this stuff's gonna be solo. Like Bell to Beast, we're kind of going into songwriting phase. So
heck yeah.
Taking a little break from shows. We just did we were playing the punk rock cover night at the Dip a couple weeks ago.
I just barely missed that, but I saw plenty of videos. I had my fair share of.
It was a fun night.
Yeah.
It was good. There was a pit the whole night. It was awesome.
Dude, yeah. That's what you want, bro. Hey, how we doing in the chat, y'all? Feel free to say hey. We'd love to take some questions.
I had a question for you.
Oh, please do.
Do you know what your astrological sign is?
Yes.
What is it?
Taurus.
Okay.
However, my birthday is May 20th, which, according to a girlfriend or two, means I'm on the cusp. I'm on the cusp of Taurus and another sign.
Do you feel that the attributes to a Taurus, do they relate to you, like when you read them?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Why do you ask?
I don't know. I was just thinking about it.
Oh, cool. Are you familiar with the associated attributes?
No, not really. Do you know?
No, I don't. It's really easy just to say like bullish or something, but even though that's not it. But whenever I hear like the description, even if it's like this is your horoscope for the day. You know, whenever I get them, I'm usually like, because I'm open. I'm open to just letting words and thoughts change and influence me, usually when it's packaged in a horoscope coming out of the mouth of a person you like, you know, it's like, yeah, I'll hear it out. I'll hear it out. And usually it does take me somewhere.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering, because there was like a thing that popped on the internet, and it was I was like, oh, I wonder if I relate to this. There was some stuff that related to me. I think it's a good tool to kind of self-reflect and, I don't know, start conversation.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like the people that are like screw horoscopes, you know, like it's like you're spending a lot of time like pointing your finger at something and saying it doesn't work, instead of like doing the whole point of it, which is like digging it within.
Yeah. I think they're fascinating.
What I think is fascinating is that guitar you brought.
Oh yeah.
I think we should check it out, man.
Yeah, man.
You got an Epiphone.
Yeah.
And a badass rosy Strat.
Yeah, this I got this. I have a Washburn acoustic that I had for a long time, and then the electronics on it started going bad, and I got it fixed like 5 times, and it finally just died.
Seriously,
So,
you kept taking it in, or
yeah. So and I'm like, ask anyone I've ever played music with, like I never change my strings. I don't know how to fix anything, so I was like, oh, I'll just buy it cheap. This was like a couple $100. It's sound good. I got it like 5 years ago or so.
Sick, so, dude. Yeah. Do you like to plug it direct in?
Yeah, usually for live, I'll go direct in. Yeah. It's got a good sound.
We can direct it. My setup only lets me take in two inputs, so I would just like disconnect the guitar real quick and let you take a song if
sure,
you want.
Yeah.
Sick, bro.
That sounds good.
I've been looking forward to this for a while.
Sweet.
Now you're live. We're at like 75 here.
Oh yeah. Sweet, bro. All right.
Waved your flag up to the sky and almost talked to God. Fell in line only to find they kept you in the dark. Sweep it under the rug if it's out of sight, never happened, la la la. They asked for cash or anything you wouldn't mind to spare. They said all I have is my mind and prayer. Yeah, and take it if you dare. Just like that, shit got real and you didn't know how to deal. And you're walking on there. And you're walking on there. Yeah, you're walking on there. Into a sea of redness and despair. Couldn't seem to figure out how no one got there. And out of your mind, I tripped up, around the bed. And you're walking on there. And you're walking on there. On there. On there.
Man, got a little into it. I slipped. Slipped off the chair. Yeah, it's a Belle DeBeast song, Walking on Air.
I was not expecting you to play that one right off the bat. That's like my favorite song right now,
on.
which is best. Justin's asking what's the best lo-fi mic. What's funny is I was actually in the car with Justin listening to the cassette tape of you and what was
Brother Luke.
Brother Luke.
Yeah, that's who I'll be touring with in July.
No shit.
Yeah. So we'll be playing up here. We'll be playing up here. I think in July.
Cool.
Yeah, he's wonderful. He's really good.
We were listening to it, and the first thing Justin said was like, "Oh, I need a mic that sounds like that." Like, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the way you're singing. Maybe it was the mic.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, I use an SM57 on a lot of stuff. You can buy them used for like $60.
S57 would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah.
That would be kind of lo-fi.
Yeah. Those are great. Just trying to think. Like, yeah, I have like a SM58. Those are great too. You know, I was trying to think like affordable, like workhorse mics. Like those are perfect.
Yeah.
And then yours, I was saying the one that you have, that's what I use for all my vocals, for all my recordings. So I think I got that used for like $80.
Yeah,
so,
sick. That.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boney Bear, man. We'll throw it even back
right.
even farther. Yeah, dude. That was rad. Yeah, I not only was I stoked when you put that song out the first time I listened to it, I was just kind of like, it was like literally just like walking down Market Street with headphones on, and I was like, oh shoot, like just like literally walking on air. I'm like, all right, let's go. And I showed it to like Jacob Econoban. We were in Boston. It was in our playlist, bro.
Oh, right
it
on.
would keep coming on, and
Nice. Yeah, how was your guys' recording session? That looked really cool. Like that studio looked awesome.
yeah, studio was awesome. Just like great mics, great instruments. Our producer was super knowledgeable, man, and
Nice.
just knew how to work that Studio A room just like super well.
So you guys were like in the big room.
We were in the
main.
We were in the big room.
Nice.
They had this giant mixing board that they didn't use because they only use it when they're routing like drums, and it has like they had like a bunch of different preamps that were like on like a rack that they liked more. You know?
Yeah.
But, like,
that's cool.
so there's just like you know, so many more knobs than you could ever imagine, and then just like an engineer that knew how to use all of them and like found the ones he liked the best, and just lots of cool stuff.
That's cool,
man.
That's so much fun to like watch engineers kind of work. I always like asking questions because everyone has a different workflow, and it's fun just to like see people work and like, oh, so how do you you bust these things together and you do this and that. It's like it's always fun to see people's just their work and how they go about creating.
I think the most impressive thing for me about the Boston experience was we had like 4 days. We had 4 days, 3 songs. There was another song already recorded. They needed, to be like turned into this cohesive project. And like he's still working. He's taking on the mixing soon. I think we get the mixes in like a month or something. But we had 4 days and like 6 hours a day with a little bit of wiggle room, just a long enough day where we were exhausted, but like not too, but like, so how do you get those 3 songs done in 4 days? Well, he just like, he had the know-how to do it, but just like also the workflow, and just kind of, it never felt like we were rushed, but the pace was so good. And like, it was also kind of on us, as people laying down the tracks, like we got it, we'd do our takes, we'd finagle it, we'd figure it out. But eventually we got it done and we moved on, and the train just kept rolling. And by the end, we're like, there's no more tracks. We have like an hour or 2 left, like, and
nice.
It wasn't like we were racing,
Yeah.
It was just so
That's
relaxed.
a good feeling, because when you go into you're paying for the studio time, it's like it can feel like that. We're like, because time is money, so you want to get as much done as you possibly can, but also not feel rushed and like be able to have a good performance. And it can be nerve-wracking, so it's good to hear that it was a good experience and
big
chill.
props to Jacob, who like wrote most of the songs and laid down the majority of the tracks and stuff. It's just dude not only kept his cool, but also just he just impressed all of us in the room. Like, I've been playing with this guy for a bit, and I was still just like, shit, all right,
That's cool. That's awesome.
so I'm excited to hear him. And
Does it have like a release date at all, or
I think June 14th.
Oh wow,
June
not too far.
Yeah, June 14th. And we have like I think we have like 5 or 6 shows like kind of
sweet.
spanned already afterwards. Like, so
awesome.
we have a place, not officially, but it's on the calendar. We have a place for the release party. And then I think, we're playing like the Dip and Black Diamond Lounge and some other
Right on.
places just, downtown that
Yeah.
way. And we're going to do that. And maybe
that'd
we'll
be
take
fun.
it somewhere else, or maybe
Yeah.
we'll work on the next thing. I don't
Yeah.
really know yet.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats. That's a big achievement, especially to go cross country and like track, and it's gonna sound great.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick. And
Yeah.
then we're already talking about where we want to record locally for the next one.
Cool.
Obviously, and
A lot of choices.
as we know, there's a bunch of choices,
Yeah.
and they all offer their own flavor, and
Totally,
they're all
yeah.
super cool, man.
Yeah.
Who have you kind of been? You had a post on Instagram just the other day, and it was you in a room with a whole swath of names.
Yeah, that was kind of a Calvin Black and I have been working on an album together. So we've released one song so far, Way Beyond the World, and so I think there's 10 songs on the album. We started about a year ago, and so we're just kind of putting the finishing touches on it. And so we invited some friends over, and we had made brunch. Calvin made biscuits and gravy, and
Yeah, he posted something like
Yeah.
normalize breaking bread.
yeah. So it's fun. We just hung out, shoot the shit and drink coffee, and then spend a couple hours, doing some vocal, gang vox and just a bunch of different stuff, and it's fun. Yeah.
Dude, I can't. I didn't. I had forgotten, or I didn't process that there was a whole album coming out of that, because I've been listening to Way Beyond the World a lot. It's such a cool vibe, bro.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
takes you to a higher plane. I don't know what he says, but it does
Right.
take you kind of just up.
It's a very what's the word? The album's all over the place as far as sounds and genre, so it's really fun. So the project's called On Sundays because we literally get together every Sunday and we just put ourselves in the room and just see what happens. And so I'd either have a guitar riff, or he'd have something on keys or a little vocal idea, and then we kind of just planned to do a song, and then we ended up doing the album. So we're finishing up a music video for Way Beyond the World, so kind of roll it out.
Yo, that's awesome.
Trying to do it proper.
Yeah. Cool, man. Yeah, I haven't got to know Calvin personally yet.
You should definitely have him on.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that'd be so sick.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he does seem, he's just kind of always rocking a smile, and I like his social media, bro, because that's how I kind of keep up with people. I gotta see a show first before I get him on, though. I kind of feel like it's important to see somebody.
I think he's gonna be playing at the Red City Zine Fest.
Dude, I'm working it and playing it all day, so I'll be there.
Yeah,
I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be a good opportunity to talk to people, to get them here.
Yeah.
Network and
Yeah.
get them on the books.
Heck yeah. I have I don't know if you've met Casey Bales yet. I have him on tomorrow.
No, I've listened to his band though, because I saw you post.
Yeah.
I was listening. It's great.
Yeah,
really
it's
good.
It's really I can't even really think of it, but the most recent songs they put out, they're kind of, so the words are constantly jumping on top of each other. It kind of feels like it's just constantly taking you a bit further than you thought you were gonna go.
Yeah. It's great. I want to see them live. I haven't seen their band live.
Yeah, I don't know if they've played much live yet.
Really?
Yeah, either. And I think the majority of it's Casey just tracking stuff, and then he'll get people together for be it promo shots or whatever. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna chat with him tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
I'm looking forward to
figure
it.
out more about
what's going on.
What's going on? Yeah, where's this thing heading?
Yeah.
Because I know he's recorded with Jesse Lawson too.
Oh, right
down
on.
the road too.
I know. I still need to make my way in there. I've talked to him through Instagram and stuff. I need to check out the studio. It seems like a cool spot.
Yeah, he's super sick. That's another guy I gotta get on here, because I'm sure that dude's chock full of stories. Do you have any crazy tour travel stories? Do you have one that's?
I do.
Yeah, let's go.
It's I've told it to a few people. It's a good one. And I don't know how it all unfolded, but it happened. So, this was I think I was like 20 years old or so, and did a tour up north, and we were in Portland, and we came in. We played a show at the venue, and then that night, someone had like a house that we were gonna stay at. I had no idea where it was or what we were doing, but it was in like a pretty nice neighborhood, and there was like 6 of us. It was like a band thing, and so we go. It's like nice 2-story houses and stuff. They're like, "Oh, here's your room. We're upstairs," and like thanks. So wake up in the morning. Me and my buddy Paul, we go out to our car and get our stuff to kind of just get ready for the morning. And we walk back into the house and go upstairs and walk into our room, and there's a baby. And we're like, dude, what's up? Like, where'd this baby come from? And then like we kind of like looked at each other and we realized, oh, this is the wrong house. And so yeah, and so then like I'll never forget, like we looked at each other and we're like, oh no. And then we like heard someone walking like towards the room, and so we just like bolted down the stairs and then went to the right house, and we're just like, oh my god. And so it gets worse. And then so then the next day we go out, we get ready for the morning, walk into the house, and we get like into the kitchen, and this dog runs out, and we're like, they don't have a dog. We like walked into the house a second time 2 days in a row. So I'm like happy we didn't get shot or anything. But yeah, true story.
That guard dog did a bad job. Baby should have started crying.
I know.
There was a lot of opportunities for
There were
alarm bells to sound.
Yeah, no, I like look back, I'm like, oh my god, that's insane. Like if that happened, if it was my house, that would be not cool.
Yeah. I've had someone walk into my apartment before,
Really?
and then close the door and turn around. I walked to the hallway, opened the door, and they were halfway down the hallway. I said, hey, did you just walk into my apartment? And they said, oh, my bad, I'm so sorry. So I started kind of locking the door just because it was like strange. I also have a funny. That made me think of a funny story. When I was still of the age where I would climb into bed with my mom, like when I had nightmares or something. So there was one night, and my mom used to sleep on the couch occasionally too. My dad was like a snorer, or maybe they were fighting. I don't know what the deal was. She would sleep on the couch. So there was one night I go to sleep in my bedroom. I wake up and I'm going to go climb in with mom. So I run downstairs, and there's a woman sleeping on a couch, and I climbed in, my face next to their foot. Like I wasn't spooning this person. But I was young, and it turns out they were of high school age, because it was one of my sister's friends. So I was old enough to climb into young enough to climb into bed with mom, but I also remember old enough to be old enough where I was able to be completely embarrassed and traumatized when I woke up like 6 hours later.
Oh wow, so you slept throughout the whole night.
I slept.
Wow.
I slept, and I looked up, and that was not mom, and it was not sister. Were
they still sleeping?
They were
Wow.
They were still asleep.
Wow.
Or maybe, but I think they had to have noticed.
Yeah. That's nice
6 hours.
They just kind of let you do your thing.
They kind of and then the final end of the story was I jumped out traumatized, ran into my bedroom, locked the door, and then when my mom was making pancakes for all the kids that were staying over that night, apparently, or just my sister and her friend, she said, Daniel, do you want pancakes? And I said, I'm not hungry. And I crawled under my covers in my locked bedroom. Boy, was I hungry. And I was so embarrassed, man.
That's good. That's a good kid story.
It's a good kid story. You have a good 20-year-old story.
No, that could be like mortifying though when you're that age, like that kind of in between age where it's embarrassing.
Yeah, I remember it. So that's gotta
stuck
mean
with
something.
you.
Let's see what we got here. Luke Freeman says, "Are you in Sludge?" And
that's Luke. That's brother Luke.
Oh, that's brother Luke. Yo, I'm a big fan, even though we've never met.
So we played some shows together last year, and we were in Chico, and this woman came up to us, and she was very sweet, and asked us very sincerely. She's like, "Are you in Sludge?" And we were just doing like an acoustic set, and we're like, "Oh no, we're not in Sludge." And apparently we looked like we were, but Sludge was playing the next night. She had the wrong night because she was going to be doing photography. And but then I looked at Sludge, and we didn't look like them. But
No.
easy mistake. She was very sweet. So
that's funny. Cheers.
but now we're gonna wear shirts on our tour that say, "Are you in Sludge?" So
I love that. There was a similar story at the theater. We were doing Rocky Horror Show, and there's just a bunch of F-bombs and stuff going on, and like people saying crass stuff. And at one point, my dad, who was directing the show, dropped like an F-bomb or something out loud because it's very audience call and response. And this lady came up to him and said, "Sir, you need to mind your language. That was inappropriate." And then he apparently looked at her, and my dad's an interesting human. He's the nicest guy you'll ever meet, but if he's in a mood, right, not like he's not gonna hurt you, but he might be snarky. Right. He said, "I'm the director. I'll say whatever the fuck I want." And then somebody bought him a hat that said, like, "I'm the director. I'll say whatever."
That's amazing. Yeah. Man, what a great response.
It reminds me of that. Like, are you in Sludge? It's kind of just like a slight fuck you, but it's also just funny,
Yeah. I know. Yeah, it's not expensive for her. It was just kind of something that we all remember because we all kept our cool. And we're like, "Oh no, we're not in Sludge." It was just a funny moment.
Yeah.
But yeah,
love that, bro. So you've been playing, man. When did you first pick up a guitar, man?
I started in I was like a sophomore, I think, in high school, and I was just like one of my favorite bands, Wilco. And
I've seen them.
Yeah, me too. They're awesome live. They're so good. That album Yankee Hotel Foxtrot came out when I was in high school, and so I was like, man, it'd be awesome to play along to these songs, and like come to find out a lot of them are just like 3 chords.
Wow.
Super easy. And so that's when I like really started playing music. Before that, like, my parents were super cool and would drop us off like at punk shows. So like 12, 13, just hang out at punk shows and just be silly.
Yeah.
So I've always loved music, but started playing music in high school, and then once I graduated high school, just started playing around town here, and like the Dip, their original location on Lake Boulevard, they, like, I don't know how, but we ended up getting a couple shows there, and then I think one thing led to another, and just continue to do it.
Yeah. Love it, dude. And I love that the passion's still there. Like, you got projects coming out. You got collab with Calvin. You're hanging out with Brooke. You got Emerald City in the works.
That's a fun project,
going on tour with Brother Luke. You're playing Beldavis. You're working on the next record. You got a podcast. You got time to be here, man. It's just blowing my mind a little bit.
No, it's that whole thing, like you were saying earlier, just that balance, like I tried in the past. I was really bad at saying no to things, but now, like, I have no problem saying no to things, but at the same time, all the things that have come up, I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty fun. And I at least so far I haven't been burnt out, so like I'll just keep going until the wheels come off, I guess.
Yeah. And what's really cool is, like, you're never gonna find like money to repair your wheels or upgrade if you don't keep going. I mean, you can like stop and take a break and look around, but eventually you got to keep going. And it's this fun line. Like, I feel like the human body's just so fun because it's constantly in like a perpetual state of decay, but like our sentience and our souls allow us to like recognize that and remediate that. And like, it's
true,
bro. It's so
weird.
Man.
It's true. It's crazy how even like if you wake up in the morning, you're not like feeling super hot or whatever. It's like once you get up and you start getting ready for the day, you feel a little better. It's kind of the same sense of like music stuff. It may not feel inspired like in the moment, but I'll pick up my guitar, I'll turn the the recording thing on and just maybe put some ideas, and the next thing you know, it's like, oh, got a song. And it's like just trying to keep that in your day, like make sure that's, because it's important to like make it part of your routine and just do it. It's not going to be like the greatest thing, but you know, maybe one of those 20 songs will turn out to be something to keep or to workshop, you know?
Yeah, man, I'm feeling inspired, because you know, like even just saying we're gonna do a podcast, like I can easily hold myself accountable, but to do this, but it's kind of like knowing that someone's gonna show up, and I need to be prepared. Like every day before someone comes over, it's like, okay, I'm gonna do the dishes. I didn't even get to it, but like I'm gonna tidy up. I'm gonna, you know, make sure everything's plugged in, everything's working.
Yeah.
But then taking that a step farther and like actually doing it for myself. Yeah. And like setting it up for me to play too.
Do you feel recharged after you do a podcast? You know,
I do. I'm like buzzing for a while after something like this. Usually.
No, I think there's something to that. It's like I don't know what it is, but because I mean, podcasting, just having conversation with people, for me, it like totally recharges me, because you walk away from it changed in a way, because now you've experienced this other person's, you know, perspective on life, and I find it inspiring. You walk away, it's like, oh damn, like you could write a song about that, or you could, I don't know, you're better for it, like learning about other people's experiences, because it's so easy to get caught up in our own day-to-day, or just, you know, I don't know, with like social media, so much of it's, you know, me, and it's like, okay, I had enough. Like, what about you? Like, I want to know about you, you know?
Yeah. Well, I love that, bro, because you're one of those, you've been like very active, and it's on social media, and I try and be the same for my friends, and I was talking about this yesterday. You know, you kind of get back more than you put in, you know, like if you want people to like your stuff, well, then you should probably send some love to their stuff, and then it makes it really easy to send love to people's stuff when you surround yourself with people that you like.
Yeah,
you know, it's like the more real you can make that network, is really cool. So I've kind of just found all these cool people in town that are making stuff, and I kind of shed that ego that usually would have been jealous and competitive, and been like, oh, I want to like learn from you and sit down in the room with you and like go see you do your thing. And then all of a sudden it's you know, getting out there. Then when I'm putting out my stuff, there's people showing up like, oh, exactly. Yeah, wait, we formed a relationship and I remember it, and it's great. And now you're supporting me when I'm like putting my heart out there, and
totally,
it's just such a beautiful thing.
It is. I mean, I think that, you know, why, at least for me, it's not the same answer for everyone, but for me, I listen to music for that emotional connection. You know, I want to feel something after I listen to a song. In the same sense of going to a show or having a conversation, like I want to invest myself into it, but I also, you know, I'm looking to gain something from it as well. And I don't know, if you don't put yourself out there, you know, you're not taking those risks, because you could really benefit from it. Like, it is scary at times, but at the same time, like, you could really come away from that experience like being way better, and getting to meet a new person. That's I always think about it. It's like, I've been doing music for, you know, quite a long time now, and all of my close friends are from music. Like, everyone in my orbit is from music, from, you know, maybe a year ago or 20 years ago. But, you know, like Luke, like that's someone that I've known for a long time, and we're still touring. You know, it's like, it's cool, because music, it really brings people together.
It does. Yeah. It does. It's just the way it works. You start putting out sounds. Like, we often put up, you know, gates, and we charge money to cover all the expenses. But chances are, if you put a band in the middle of a green pasture and you turned them on and there was people in hearing distance, they would eventually migrate over to the sound to see what's up. Yeah, that's true. So it kind of goes to show how important music is, because you're going to draw people in, whether it's the sound of screaming and agony or just absolute heavenly bliss. I don't know, but it brings people together, and then what you do when you're together, that's kind of up to the vibe, I guess, or
Totally.
the plan or whatever.
Yeah, because you moved here a few years ago?
Yeah, like 4 years ago. I've been here like in this apartment for 4 years.
What was your first like kind of feeling of the music scene or the arts scene? Like, was it welcoming, or did you kind of have to meet people to kind of get into it?
It didn't really feel welcoming to me at first, but I don't know if that was something I was projecting and getting back, or I definitely think it's gotten better over the last 3 years.
Nice.
And I don't necessarily attribute that to myself at all, but I have, been a part of it and like to think that I've helped contribute to like bringing people together in like a safe way. But my first reaction was, what's actually kind of funny is I heard about Jacob Akana, and I'm like, oh, guy similar to my age, he's putting out tracks. I have my own little studio here that I created, and it was in a various form compared to what it is now. But I remember like sending him like a DM on Instagram and then just getting ghosted. And I was kind of like, well, there was my one time reaching out to see what happens. It didn't work, and I reclused myself and took it really personally. And then I made a friend who knew him, and they were like, oh no, I've actually, like heard him talking about you, how he wants to kind of get to know you.
Oh, that's cool.
And they're like, he's like a nice guy. I don't think he meant anything by it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we met organically, and we worked a music festival together. We were just, nice. Helping out, like emceeing it and stuff. And then we just kind of kept running into each other, and now we're best friends. I think we're gonna hang out tonight. So
that's sweet.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
So my first reaction was like, I don't really know what's going on, but he was the first kind of person I found of like a similar age and ilk, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Jacob's great. That's what's cool is I feel lucky because I got to meet people that were very supportive in the music scene when I was growing up. I'd go to shows before I even played music a bunch, and now my buddy Matt, at the time, like he was in this band, the Red Robot, that was super popular, awesome local band, and after like the Dip closed and the Space closed, all these venues that were like the spots to play, everything closed, so they were just doing like house shows and stuff. And at Matt's place, I went there for a show, and he's like, dude, don't you play guitar? I was like, oh yeah, I mean, I got a couple songs, like I'm still learning chords. And he's like, yeah, open the show. It's like, so I ran home, grabbed my guitar, and like played, I don't know, 3 or 4 songs, and like just extending that hand. And there's been multiple people like that over the years that like as I get older, like I want to be that same person and give back, because there's been so many people that have given me opportunities along the way. So I think if we all do that, whatever capacity we can, it makes, for at least for the community, makes it stronger.
Yeah, there's something very sweet about being like offered an opportunity, especially when you're first getting started. I remember those first handful of gigs that I got when I had written some songs, man, and I could play those chords. It was a really big freaking deal. Yeah. I went to a show at the Rabbit Hole like a couple months back, and there's this really great artist who I met in town, and I had heard her play some songs. It's Kaylee, not Callie. Yeah. And so I had met her hanging out with Rachel Beck once, and she played some songs, and we just kind of hit it off, and I didn't really ask her about her history or how long she'd been playing or anything like that. And she just played some really great songs. So I run into her again at the Rabbit Hole, and I like sit next to her, and we're talking, and she looked a little like nervous. I'm like, are you all good? She's like, this is only my like first or second time performing on stage. Wow. And it kind of blew my mind. I was like, but you're so good. Yeah. And your songs, like when I hear, like, they're just like, they're so there. It seems like you have nothing to worry about. You have such a good path. And it just kind of reminded me that some people out there, you might think they've just got it all together because you hear them play a great song and you're like, oh yeah, they're so good, they've made it. no, they still have their own. They
Oh,
they
yeah.
still need olive branches. We all kind of
For
need
sure.
to reach out to each other and help each other out.
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially playing live. Like I don't know. I don't think I've ever met anyone that's like doesn't have a little bit of nerves. You know, like I get super nervous. You know, like,
Yeah.
still like, and I'm kind of known for that in the sense of like I'll forget lyrics or I'll put my capo in the wrong spot. And so like now I at least I just try to like accept it. I'm like, whatever. So
Yeah,
but it took a long time to like get to that point.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's a kind of a scary thing to put yourself out there, and especially when people are like paying money for an event or something. You want to put on a good show and be rehearsed and at least come across like you know what you're doing.
To be fair, as soon as she started playing it, was everybody just went vroom, vroom, and it was just
isn't that cool?
absolutely incredible. Yeah.
I love that when it like someone just like commands a room.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's why I was taken aback when she said it was only my first or second time, because literally every time I see her, it's just like full attention commanded, and these songs are incredible. So
that's awesome.
yeah, it's just it's kind of cool to just see people that just freaking have it, man. Or you know that they turn it on, bro. I'm thinking about you just playing that "Walking on Air" song. I wasn't expecting that one, man.
That's that's 3 chords. You know, it's just a 3-chord song, just D, G, and A. So it's a fun one. Like that's I'm not a great like guitarist whatsoever. Like the guys in Bell to Beast, they're like real musicians. Like they know their stuff. I typically will do very simple, you know, skeletons of songs, and then my thing is like vocal melody. Like that's what I love.
Yeah.
Is working on the vocal aspect of it. So guitar is really just a tool to get that out.
Yeah.
So
So are they the ones bringing like the da 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 da
Oh,
da
yeah.
da da like all?
yeah, they're
that?
doing all the
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's kind of our. I mean, it's a very democratic system where everyone's able to bring whatever to the table.
Sick. Are you usually bringing like the starting song structure though? Kind of.
Yeah, I'll bring like usually I'll bring like a verse and a chorus. I do.
Nice.
Like that's usually how it comes. And maybe you know a melody or some vocal or some lyrical ideas. But then we'll like kind of build it together, and yeah, they're all a lot of the guys like Adam, our bass player, Dan, our guitarist. I grew up like watching them, so they're a few years older than me.
Oh, cool.
So it's like
yeah.
I still kind of like fan out. I'm like, dude, like,
Yeah.
it's cool to be playing with you guys. And our drummer Kyle, he's just like an insane machine. Like he's been in a bunch of local bands, and he's just like he's like an animal. It's crazy,
Dude, I can't wait to see you guys play again. I legitimately might have only seen you play one time at Cedar Crest.
Oh yeah,
I think it was just that recent time.
that was we were losing our minds that night.
That was a little interesting.
It was.
But I definitely.
That's a good word for it. It was interesting.
I definitely got the gist, and I was like there at the date, and we like had a couple drinks, and I was gotta see these guys.
Yeah. That felt like that. I mean, that was a really fun show, but that definitely felt like an old like house show where you can't hear yourself, and so you just kind of like, let's just go nuts.
Yeah.
So a lot of screaming, and
Yeah.
usually I try to like kind of keep it more musical.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah. It wasn't. Yeah. It was one of those. That's the perfect way to describe a house show. It's basically any show where it's like,
Yeah.
I wish I could hear their vocal
Yeah,
better, and
yeah.
like, there's really not.
Yeah.
It's like everyone sounds great, but it's just not mixed.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it still was a blast, and I think being someone who's played so many of those shows, and also knowing that like once it's going, like
Yeah. Right.
you find what's good, and you hang on to it.
Yeah, that's when you're running your own sound. I love that though. Like to me, like I love kind of the chaos of it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like where you just kind of throw it up and then like let's just go for it. Like that's really fun. That's actually kind of with that recording Walking on Air. We recorded it in our practice space across the street, and that was kind of the idea. It was like let's just do it. Throw the mics up and just go. And for like the vocal stuff, it was just like I'm just gonna sing it through. well, let's just take the first or second take. That's it. Because it wanted like that immediacy, like that just kind of frantic feeling. Because that's the way I feel whenever we play it. So to try to get that across within the recording.
Were you able to do the vocals in like a couple takes?
Yeah, that was. I think it was a second take. Just went through it.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Is it the whole song,
Yeah.
one take?
Yeah.
Dude, that's incredible. I think there's a couple things that are just really interesting about the song. Like it almost feels like when the vocal comes in, it feels like it's on like the third of the fourth measure, or like you know, like it feels like it's like now we're in it, which is kind of interesting, but it works. And then when it does like the big walking on air, and then it has that breakdown.
Oh right,
that's it's such a fulfilling like heavy build release into this like halftime guitar thing.
Yeah, and that was all like I think that the halftime thing, that was Kyle. Like we just started doing that live because we played that song quite a bit live before we recorded it, and so that was what was kind of cool. Was in the past, like our last record, a lot of it was sort of crafting it. I mean, we'd played it live, but then crafting it in the studio. Whereas with like this one, like we had played it so much and worked out everything, we just wanted to like capture that energy. So it was a fun one. And then our buddy Chris Keene in Chico, he mixed it. So like usually I record and mix a lot of at least my solo stuff. Yeah. But for all the Belda stuff, it's like let the professionals do.
That's so much work.
Oh yeah, no, that's I wouldn't start.
Especially when you have like your personal bias, like from being in the room too.
Yeah, and the guys are like, you know, they have certain tones and things that they want. And like, I'm not going to be the guy that is in control of that. So.
Yeah. Dude, that's super cool though about how that track came about, and I think it definitely worked. I think not that your other record doesn't necessarily have that, but I can see the difference, and I think your record. Boom. I got this one. I just have the sleeve, but the vinyl's on the player right now. But dude, Summer Bender, falling in love. So good.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that was a full band song. Like we all kind of wrote that one together. It was kind of a neat. That's the thing about Build a Beast. The band's been around for, I think 2006 is when we played our first show. So it's been around for a long time. But we've had like 14 different members, and so it's like it started out as like a punk country band. Yeah. And then it morphed into like this sort of like mathy thing, and now it's, you know, this kind of more indie, straightforward rock. I mean, I just kind of go along with the ride, you know? Because every new person, it changes the sound, and it's one of those things where I just kind of want to see where it goes. I've never had like an idea of like this is what it should be. So that's what's kind of fun about it.
How long has it been since you've changed a member? Like who's like the newest member?
Adam, our bass player. He joined about a year ago.
Whoa.
So yeah, it's a lot of different people, different drummers, different guitarists, different bass players, but it's all like kind of we all know each other.
Yeah.
Or people move away, or they start families, or go to college, and so it's all like we're all still friends. We still all do creative stuff together, but yeah, it's kind of fun.
That's kind of nice that it hasn't just been like a string of heartbreaking breakups.
Dude, and that's the thing. Like, I don't take that kind of stuff personally, because it's like life happens. You know, you know. I mean, of course, it's cool to play shows and put out music, but like, if you got to take care of business, do it. You know, we'll be here. Just come back when you're done.
Yeah. Music and art and stuff. It's important and crucial and integral to the world, I think. But it's also, you know, it's there's other basic needs that you need to meet before you can do like artistic endeavors sustainably without your body and your mind and your heart and your soul. You know, going crazy.
Again, that balance. It's like music isn't always gonna pay the bills, you know, not for everyone at least, and so you gotta you gotta take care of those basic needs first.
Yeah. Are you able to like do music as your thing? Have you ever?
No, it's funny because I like got a degree in music business. That's what I went to school for, and I like my soul just doesn't match up with it. It's like I'm not business savvy whatsoever. I find it super interesting, like, you know, learning about like copyright and all these different, you know, like just the legal aspects of music and you know, the accounting of it all. Like, it's cool, it's good to know, but like that's not why I do it. Like, I just do it for fun. So.
Dude, yeah, it's hard because it's like it's called like show business, baby, or music business or whatever, you know. It's all very real. I've learned a lot. I just have a really unique dad. Like, when I grew up, 4 years old, he quit being a teacher, moved us over the hill into Trinity County. I grew up in Weaverville.
Oh, cool.
And he bought like the old movie theater there that was abandoned and renovated it. And so I grew up with like a dad running like a theater, you know, which is very business. Prior to that, he had done, you know, like on stage theater, which is, you know, but educationally. And now he's, you know, running like a nonprofit theater. He's not taking any money or making any money, but he is running a business that has a lot of money coming in and out, just to keep the doors open and pay for the next show. And it's so hard when you just want to do the art for art's sake thing, you know, but there's a certain degree of structure you can implement where you can still have your artistic freedom. Mm-hmm. It's like you talking about like you and Calvin trying to like, you know, put it out the right way or roll it out like in a way that's going to kind of work. Yeah. You got to have a little structure. Yeah. You got to add a little business into it. It's true.
I mean, you can probably attest to this. You know, many musicians are not business people. Like that's why you have managers and you have a team, you know, per se. And like I think it's good to learn about those things. I don't want to lose the fun that I have with music, and I feel like if I got too into like the business aspect of it, it would become a job for me. I feel like I know my personality in that way, and so that's why I didn't opt to do it. But I mean, I went to school with a lot of people who are doing well in music, you know?
Cool.
And it's awesome to see them do that.
I went to school for environmental science, and I'm not working as an environmentalist, but it definitely shaped my ethics about how I approach the world. And I could be doing a lot better, but I certainly, you know, I navigate with a lens of the world that tries to make life better for not just people but the planet too. You know, it's kind of hard because everything, like every item I'm using in here was just, you know, created by the harvesting of natural resources. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's every little bit counts, you know. Like it's easy to go down rabbit holes like, oh, I could have done this, I should have done this. Like, if you're trying your best and you know in your heart you are, then that's good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We all could improve a little bit, but you know, we're trying. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we're trying. We certainly are, man. We certainly are. It's a little toasty in here. Is that just me? Is that just the sweater, bro?
It might be. Yeah. I'm good. I got drenched. I think I'm still drying off. So
Good, bro. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We're just kind of hanging out, chatting, but we appreciate the engagement.
Yeah.
Let's see, man.
What have you been listening to lately? What are some new? It doesn't have to be new, but like, what type of bands or artists have you listened to?
It's not necessarily new. I went to Temple Music the other day and I picked up a Woody Guthrie Lead Belly folk album.
Oh, nice.
And I have like a fun little connection with Woody Guthrie because I played Woody Guthrie in like a musical that this professor from UC Berkeley wrote. We did it over here.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it sold really well, and we told these really cool stories about, you know, Woody Guthrie growing up and leaving because of the Dust Bowl and
Yeah.
traveling all around and
Yeah.
sleeping under every railroad bridge in the state of California. And just all these cool stories.
That's
But
really cool.
I found this like $10 Woody Guthrie Lead Belly record, and it's awesome. They fit like 10 songs on each side. They're like 2.5 minute songs or
Yeah.
something, and it felt like it was just going on forever. But like new stuff, I'm going to see a band in April. Oh, that's coming up. Like April,
yeah.
April 19th or something. I'm going to Harlow's in Sacramento.
Yeah, that's a great venue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm seeing this band called the Beths.
Oh, okay.
And
I
they're-
feel like I've heard of them before.
They're
Yeah.
out of New Zealand.
Okay.
And they're just like, they're like gearheads. They're kind of nerdy.
Uh-huh.
And then the gal who writes and sings the songs and plays a lot of the rhythm guitar, she's just like a sweetheart. And I've just been listening to them for a while. They like went
Nice.
#1 on some like college radio stations like
That's cool.
a year or two ago.
Have you been to Harlow's before?
No, it'll be my first time.
I've been to a few shows, and it's a really cool venue. It's like, it's intimate, and it's just neat. It's really neat. I mean, it's not a bad spot in the place.
I'm so stoked. I love going to new venues. I like when I went to the House of Blues in Boston, I was just blown away. Like, I'm like, okay, I'll go to this venue called the House of Blues, and walking right next to Fenway Park on your right, and you turn left and you go into
That's
this.
cool. Yeah, all the history in Boston, that must have been really neat. Just kind
was-
of walking about it. That's cool.
It was cool, man. And I love new venues, and it's not new to all the people that work it and play it, and I've seen it, but it'll be new to me. And I've seen the Best once before. I saw them at the Independent in SF,
Yeah.
which was cool.
Nice.
So excited to check out Harlow's and see the
Yeah.
Beths.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's awesome. Yeah, that's I was trying to think. The last venue where I was like kind of in awe was the Fillmore in San Francisco.
Dude,
That was pretty sick.
I love the Fillmore.
Yeah.
That's where I've gone to the most shows in the
Yeah,
day.
you
so
just
far.
tell there's like a lot of stuff's gone down there. You know,
a bunch of
Yeah,
history. Yeah.
It was pretty neat. I like that spot a lot.
Yeah, that's actually like my dream venue to
Yeah.
play, because I've gone there and I've seen people that I've like really looked up to, and I've just realized they're just a person with a guitar that wrote songs that people know, and they're hanging with their band and they're locked in and they're playing, and
Yeah.
some of the best music, it's not even like hard necessarily to replicate. It's just like truthful existing then and there. And that was just kind of one of those moments. I saw one of my favorite artists and I'm like, I can do that.
Yeah.
It's like I could do that. And so I kind of have this dream of playing on the Fillmore someday.
That's awesome. Yeah. Dude, anything's possible, really. And that's what's so cool is like, you meet this person who then introduces this person and opportunities arise. I think really it's just putting yourself out there.
Dude, the guy who I saw at the Fillmore that made me feel that way was G-Love, and then G-Love played Reading Roots over here, and I was playing Reading Roots. I didn't
See,
we weren't on the same stage, but I was like, dude, I'm on the same bill as the guy who inspired me to play music in the first place.
Yeah, dude. Same way. There's been a couple artists that I've got to, play shows with, and it's kind of just like, whoa, this is nuts. Like, I could end now and I'll be happy.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
Just like the fact that your paths cross, that you get to see them play live, and then get to, share the stage and interact. I mean, that's like, it's awesome. It makes you feel like I don't know, it's worth it,
Yeah.
but it's a good payoff.
Woo-wee. Heck yeah. How you doing, man? Like, do we need to take a break? Do we want to keep rolling?
Dude,
hear another song?
The podcasts I do, like, they're so long.
Yeah,
I'm conditioned to just sort of
cool.
chill and hang.
I'm just kind of like, man, I could hit the restroom or something.
Oh
you know?
yeah. You most
Well,
definitely should.
I think I was asking you, but it was actually more. It was definitely that was me projecting.
I could play a song or do something like that.
Let's gear up for a song, and we'll hit folks with this awesome "Be Right Back" screen, and it'll be just like a minute, and we'll play you some Davey Legend in the meantime.
Smoke to bring me peace of mind, but all it ever does is cloud my insides. Foggy windows in the back of my eyes. All it does is make me camera shy. Do you know this? 'Cause I know this. Would you notice if I was sore enough? Would you still love me up? Would you still come over? Would you still come over? If I'm not sore enough, would you still love me up? Would you still come over? Would you still come over? When you with somebody, when you with someone else, when you with somebody, I can't help myself. When you with somebody, when you with someone else, when you with somebody, I can't help myself. I'm trying to be better, but my mind don't change, my heart don't change like the weather. I wanna get better, but I only end up bitter. God, I get so bitter. I get so hard, I change my mind. You bring me back to the center, break my vendetta. Look into my eyes and tell me that you'll be better with someone else. If I'm not sore enough, would you still love me up? Would you still come over? Would you still come over? If I'm not sore enough, would you still love me up? Would you still come over? Would you still come over? When you with somebody, when you with someone else, when you with somebody, I can't help myself. When you with somebody, when you with someone else, when you with somebody, I can't help myself.
We're back.
Bottle dies and fingers clenched so tight. He swung and hit me to the floor. Put on my fist, it tossing side to side. That old man got what he deserved. Grabbed the shovel, carved out his shallow grave. Pushed him in, said our goodbyes. Took us 30 years to end this household rage. Sometimes death is the only way. He's finally proud of me. And oh, my son. Oh dear mother, it was the only way that you and brother can be free. He's in the ground, yeah, and Satan has his hand. Well, Jesus Clemson turned the other way. The men in blue came knocking at my door, with guns drawn, blood rushing to the top. They shot and hit me and my body hit the floor. Oh, sweet Savior, why'd you turn away? Well, you forsaken me. And oh, my son. Oh, my son. Oh, my son. My son, oh my son.
That one's called "Oh My Son."
You're right. Just a few chords, but that's the kind of thing that I'll listen to through the stereo, and maybe it's just all the little dun dun dun. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of complexity and flourishes within the few chords
Right.
that I think just comes from that fluency.
It's true. It's funny because my when I first started playing guitar, my great grandfather, he was still living, and he played banjo and acoustic, and so I was like, I learned a few chords, and my sister, she plays violin, and so we went and visited him, and like, oh, we have this new song, and I played, and he was like, there's no melody, you're not playing, there's nothing, like you're not, it's just chords and rhythm. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Like I didn't really know what that meant, but and I'm still not great at it, but those little, little walk downs or little things that it's not just the straight chord. But I haven't got much better over the years.
That's actually something I've been learning from Jacob Akana. Like I was working on this one song, and it was like it's just like C, A minor, F, G, and then the chorus is like, think I'm falling, and then I used to play it in love again, just I'd just keep it going, but he was like,
yeah,
so now I'm playing this, I think I'm falling
yeah,
in love again,
that's awesome.
and it just kind of keeps walking down, and I'm like, and it revolutionized how I've written every song since, and that was just from collaborating and showing this guy a song, and he was like, that's a really good song, I love that, like he's like, what if you did this,
right?
And it's my favorite part of playing the song now,
That's so
because
cool.
I'm like, oh, I stretched it beyond what I originally thought.
That's what's really neat about sharing your music as you're writing it, getting that feedback, because people will hear it in a different way. And that's kind of why we do like those, invite people over for album listening, creative sessions. 'Cause it's like, what do you hear? Because you're going to hear it a different way than I do. 'Cause you have like your go-to things that you might hear when you're writing a song.
Yeah.
And it's just neat to get different perspectives. Like that's so cool. That sounds great.
It's so much cooler than just going from the C back to the A minor, you know? It's like C to B to A to G to F, and we're back in it. And I'm like, holy crap, that's so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm always trying to, and now I'm probably gonna take that one little bit. It's like learning that reverb's a thing and turning the mix to 100. It's like now I want to do it all the time.
Right.
But
that's something that I played in this band, Harlow and the Great North Woods, and I just played banjo and did backup vocals. And Mark, the main songwriter, he's like a trained musician, super amazing songwriter and human being. And what I learned from playing in that band was dynamics and just bringing it down to almost silence, and then bringing it back up, and this was all acoustic, and it was like so just the wave of the song was just like really neat, because I'm just there playing my C and G, like just strumming it at 100%.
Yeah.
And that was a huge lesson for me. And then also we do like vocal harmonies, and just the importance of practicing vocal harmonies aside from like the songs. Just have vocal practices so you're locked in, so like your muscle memory when you go play is like you're not even thinking about it.
Yeah.
So those are big lessons for me.
I have Jacob Akana band has a vocal harmony practice this Sunday night, actually.
Hey, see? And that's the thing, is like I didn't grow up in like doing like music in school or anything, so I'm just like kind of walking around like I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
And so like people that are actually trained, like you can learn a lot.
I think I was like, I'm 27 now. I think I was like probably 19 or 20 when I realized I could sing harmonies.
Really?
Like I was like way too old, because I was just I had my first rock band, but I was the only one on the mic. I had a keys player, but they weren't singing, guitar player wasn't singing, and then I think I finally just started singing along in the car and going for the harmonies instead. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, these exist. And it really helped once I got my recording set up. And I'm like, okay, I want to double these vocals.
That's cool.
All right, let's do some harmonies. And you just kind of find those intuitive
Yeah,
spots.
yeah.
And you can come up with some cool lines too.
Oh, totally. Especially when you're, you know, playing with someone else. Like if you're harmonizing with Jacob, like just the way that people hear different harmonies and like what range works well with different voices, and it's kind of a fun experiment, you know.
Yeah, it totally is. Totally is.
That's I've been working with Cam. I don't know if you've seen her play live.
That's pour over.
Yes, yeah.
I haven't seen her live yet, but
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
The 13th. She'll be there.
Let's go, dude! All these people I wanted to get to know. Yeah.
She's someone that and Calvin as well. Their harmony choices are so different because she's very like jazz trained, and Calvin's he's like soul and just trying to think of like different bands that he was referencing when we were doing the project, but just their choices of harmony, it's like I would have never have thought that, and it sounds so cool.
Yeah.
And it's just neat just hearing people's ideas when you're creating stuff, because it's easy to just do your own thing, but I feel like when you introduce other ideas and other people, it can just open up so many different doors, you know.
Yeah, especially I just played a solo set at Kelly's, and I've been playing with Dan Iwasaki, who's drums and self. Yeah, he was on last night. He drums on Self Doubt, and he plays in the Jacob Akana band. And I was talking about this gig, and I was like, yeah, man, if you just want to do you want to come play? And he's like, really? And he was stoked, and it was our first time playing through my set together.
Cool.
So I was a handful of originals and a lot of just like Lumineers and Bob Dylan and
Sweet.
and these other songs, and it was so cool just having that added element. I would take instrumentals a little longer and we'd vibe with each other, or we'd hit those like break stops, and they would just have so much they would actually drop even more. And just collaborating, man, it's so good.
Yeah. How'd you like Kelly's? That's a cool venue. I like that.
Oh
spot a
shoot,
lot.
if I said Kelly's, I like Kelly's. I meant to say Luna's.
Oh, Luna's. Okay. Luna's is awesome.
So yeah, he played with me at Luna's, and Luna's was cool.
Yeah.
In terms of like, just like kind of what the venue gives back to you. There's some that give you like a percentage of the sales.
Mm-hmm.
There's some that have like, flat rates, whatever, not to get too heavy into the money side of things, but Luna's was cool, man. They gave me and Dan a couple $100, and they fed us.
Nice.
And they gave us drinks, and we're friendly. They said, play as loud as you like. I wasn't going to blow the roof off the thing, but at least I got to get to like a volume that kind of filled the room. And
oh, that's great.
And one of the gals there really loved the Lumineers, and after I played a few of those songs, by the end of the night, she brought me a piece of cake, like
That's awesome.
And Amanda is the one who books out there, and she said, like, anyone who wants to play, she said, yeah, just have them message me,
Nice.
So
that's cool. That's always awesome when venues like treat the artists well, and I know it's a business and they have to pay the bills too, but it's nice when you get you get a decent cut,
a decent cut, a great meal, and just like drinks, and just and just being really nice and supportive.
That's awesome.
And Kelly's is a similar way. They're very upfront. They're like, hey, you get some drinks. Here's how much you're getting paid. Here's when you're playing. And the people that are that's just like that kind of long, narrow space, and it's really fun to play there.
It is. I like that spot a lot. It's like it's just very homey,
Super homey. Yeah. Have you played at Kelly's much?
Just once. Emerald City had a gig there last year, and it was awesome. That was my first time being in there, and I'd definitely like to play there again.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I bet we could put something together.
Yeah.
With like a fun blend of of all the things you got going on, all the things I got going on.
That'd be super fun.
Emerald City for sure, though. I had Brooke on a radio show I do for KKRN.
Oh, right on.
And we were talking, and I was like, yeah, that Momentary Love song, it's so good. We were talking about it, and I guess you have a lot more songs. I didn't know that you have like a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. I mean, I think our set, I think we have like at least 10 songs or so, and then there's a few they're still kind of working out, but yeah, that's kind of the goal is kind of get that one out there, and then slowly kind of chip away at recording an album, and just trying to play as much as we can.
Yeah.
So
you guys have a show coming up next
month the
as
19th,
well.
I think.
Yeah.
Cheesecake's Unlimited, another place I've never played
Dude,
before.
neither have I.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Right on.
Yeah, that's what's kind of cool. Like, there's so many places to play, and I was telling someone, it's like I don't remember the last time where like a weekend came up and it's like, oh, what show are you gonna go to? There's like actually a choice. Like,
Yeah.
you know, in the past it's like there's nothing going on. Like, let's go plug in at the gazebo in the park and like put a show on, or you know, there was nothing. So it's cool that there's like choices.
There's choices. That night I was playing at Luna's, Roger Yeager came by because I'd seen him at Whiskey Bar the night before. He's like, oh, I'll drop into Luna's, and he came by, and then we finished the set, and he actually played a song while he was there, which was cool.
Nice.
And just
Cool.
and crushed it. And then he's like, all right, I'm going to I'm going to the Shack to watch a friend play, and we're like, okay, we're going to the Dip.
Nice.
And
Isn't that so cool?
we came to a show, played a show. We both went to different shows, and there was bound to be even more options that night too.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. Yeah, there was a hip hop show at I think it was at Cedar Crest a couple months ago, and I was like, I wanted to go really bad, but we were playing a show at the Dip, and I like walked by and I was like, hey guys, like I'm gonna try to, like, once we're done, I'm gonna go by, like I really want to catch you guys. And there's just a nice camaraderie, and like everyone's supporting each other, and I don't know, it's just really cool.
Yeah.
I know I keep saying that, but it's like it really does make me happy.
It actually is like really cool. Yeah. It's really cool. The rain is slowing down.
I know.
Oh.
That's this like time of year is my favorite as far as like kind of hunkering down and like writing. It's a good time to like reflect. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. After this, I have, I think Rachel Beck's coming over, and her and I are gonna drink tea and talk about something and work on music. But
Nice.
what I'm really feeling that hunker down kind of thing coming on.
Yeah, you got a good spot too. It's like you can kind of just look out the window, and I'd get lost, I think. There's so many good views and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm grateful for this spot, man.
Yeah, it's rad.
Yeah. Let's see.
Give away this vinyl too.
Hell yeah. Well, hey, even before we do that, thank you for joining the stream. Hey, if you're in the stream, go ahead and chat a comment and let us know you're in here, because we have something really special coming up. But before you give it away, I just wanted to give a chance for some people to come in here, so so we can make a little bit out of it.
Yeah, I like it.
Have you heard of the artist, musician, probably from 70s, maybe 80s? Nick Drake.
I have. Yeah.
Do you like Nick Drake?
I love Nick Drake.
Dude,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I had a friend who introduced me to Nick Drake and was completely blown away. And I was thinking about, because I like to give gifts on the show, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to get you, but I was like, okay, maybe I can give him something that like means a lot to me. And I was kind of flipping through my personal vinyl collection, and I kept coming back to Pink Moon by Nick Drake.
Dude, I love that album. I really do.
Do you own it
I don't.
yet?
No.
All right. Well, that's what I got for you then, and it's sitting right out there. But
dude, that's super nice. Thank you. That's really neat.
I think that record's phenomenal, and I kind of hear it's different from what you do, but there's something about it. I don't know what that overlap is.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. When I was talking about like Bon Iver, Elliott Smith, Nick Drake, I mean, I think he falls in that category. It's like just this dude in his room writing songs, and there's this kind of undercurrent of like, I don't know, a lot of minor. It's kind of a sad music in a way, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know what that is either.
Yeah.
People tell me that all the time. Like, just write a happy song, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think Walking on Air could be a happy song, right?
It could be.
It could be. I'm gonna grab that record really quick.
Oh, right on.
Pass it off again.
Is everyone still doing well out there? This is pretty cool. Looks like we got 9 people in the chat. Hey. Hope everyone's having a good evening.
This is one of those records that it was
That's a good one.
introduced to me by my friend Will Bishop, and him and I were having a good time up in Trinity County during a snowstorm, and I was just playing acoustic music and talking about the bands I like, and he said, "Well, have you heard of Nick Drake?" And I said, "No." He's like, "We got to listen to Pink Moon." Changed my life. Probably listened to it on repeat 1,000 times. When I got my record player, it was like the first one that I bought, but I found myself not necessarily listening to it too much lately, knowing that I would eventually, but also knowing that one of my favorite things to do with music and stuff in general is just like, if you haven't touched it in a while, give it away. Like this thing deserves to be played. So if you're not playing it, find someone else who will. Like, let's keep introducing people to this record because it's
Daniel,
incredible.
I appreciate it, man. This is like super cool.
Yeah.
I like this album a lot. I don't own it, so yeah, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, you're welcome, bro.
Yeah, I'll definitely listen to it. I mean, this is like perfect weather for it too.
Exactly. Yeah. I've been thinking about this for like probably like a week or two, because like what's it gonna be? And that was the only thing that I kept coming back to. So I'm glad it kind of worked out.
You nailed it, man.
Yeah,
you nailed it.
Sweet. Intuition. That's actually the word of the day.
Oh, is it?
For me
Nice.
today is intuition. And I'm a big bath taker.
Oh, nice.
I was laying in the bath with the candles on, and I was just like thinking about all the things I wanted to talk about, and I kind of had to like stop myself because I was like, I don't want these thoughts to escape. Like I was like I want to make sure we chat about these things. I don't remember what they were, but then what I came up from with that, what I came to from that was just gotta trust my intuition on this one.
Yeah. Wait, you done good. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's I get that way too with podcasts, because you want to, at least I try to do some research, but also like not put certain expectations so it can like flow organically, and it's kind of finding a happy medium behind it, because some people too, like you probably notice, like not everyone is comfortable with talking or in conversation, so sometimes you have to just listen, sometimes you have to ask more questions, and it's kind of a fun game.
Yeah, it is. I've had some friends where it's like they're like, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. I'm like, you know what? Don't worry. I'll have stuff for us to talk about the entire time.
Yeah.
And then I have other friends, especially when they're like musicians and they just have like a catalog of time to be spent just in their head that's like fun and musical. It's like, oh, we could always just like play another song. Like
Right.
that's kind of fun when it gets to that point too.
Yeah, I mean you're very it comes very natural to you, it seems, like being able to carry a conversation and make the other person look good, because I think that's the job of a host, is to make the other person shine. And you do well at that. So.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
I'm definitely trying. So we've got someone in the chat. Feel free to say hey. I'm trying to think about ways we could give this away without like a large number of people here. We could do like a comment afterwards.
Yeah.
We can do like a pick a number, leave a comment,
that could be-
closest number.
Yeah.
What are certain ways we could give something away here?
That's a good question. I mean, pick a number is always good. You could do, how about this? We mentioned horoscopes. They could guess my sign. Maybe that.
we could guess your sign. Part of me's thinking, what would be really fun is to incorporate this into the live stream, but we could also actually go, if we want slightly more reach, we could even take this into like Instagram land and create like a giveaway post where people like interact too. There's so many ways to. Hey, who's in the chat? Go ahead and leave a comment if you're here, because you might make life really easy on us. You could win a prize.
Yeah, based on this conversation and some of the characteristics that you've seen from me, what sign do you think I am? You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll leave this open for a day. What sign do you think Zach Zeller is? No, based on the conversation.
I'm gonna have to find out first. I'm not sure. No, I'm just kidding.
And you'll have a chance. Well, we should tell them. We should tell them.
Yeah.
We should tell them what they're getting.
This is Belle Beast, Imitation Bliss. This is our latest album. We released it on vinyl. There's only 100. It's a limited pressing, so this will be yours. It turned out sounding really good on vinyl. I wasn't sure if it would, but they did a good job. So
yeah.
The
reason we're giving it away is because I already own it, because I bought it from Temple Music as soon as I could.
I saw your gift segment. I was like, I want to bring a gift. So, but now we can gift it to everyone here. So, or someone here.
Yeah, and how do you win? Guess the horoscope. If we have multiple people guess it correctly, I'll do like a drawing from those list of correct guesses.
That seems fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. You might get a record to spin, which is always a blast. Dude, I love listening to records.
Me too.
What is it? I think it's like the fact that you're like seeing time move, and I love like turning them down very low and just like hearing the speck of noise off the needle, and you're like, that's what's being amplified. This super fine tuned.
Yeah. It's fun. Like, I love just going through bins of records, like at the record store, and especially when you like use stuff like that's on like the bottom bin, like so you're down on your hands and knees, like digging. It's like $1. Like there's been a couple where I found like, you know, there was this specific Brazilian bossa nova album I was looking for, and I found it for $1 down in I was down there for like 2 hours, and I found it, and I was like, one of the best days of my life.
That's incredible. The amount of time I spent like looking for that record before I eventually found it online, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, every time I went to a store, it was like Nick Drake, DR, nothing. Can't find it anywhere.
Yeah, I went to Temple Music a couple weeks ago and dropped like, I don't know, $100 because they had a few albums I'd been looking for a while, and they were all there. I was like,
dude,
gotta do it.
I saw Dorian post when he does the new arrivals and he flips through the records. Yep. I think the very first one I saw, I'm like, you know, coming up with my Grateful Dead collection, vinyl collection, their studio releases and their main live releases, which is nearly complete. And one of my favorite records is Shakedown Street, and I was missing it, and he just flipped right past it, and I was like, boom, 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 boom. And then I went and bought a few more too while I was there. But
dang, that's awesome.
It's so cool when these images and songs and thoughts you have in your mind, they just appear.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, and I try to, especially with like new releases, you know, to just support the bands, because you know, with streaming revenue, it's not great.
It's
and
small.
So, and so to support an artist in that way, to buy like a physical piece of music or whatever sort of merch, or go to the show, like I try to support however I can, because hopefully that's more money in their pocket at least. You know?
I've been buying for basically every band that's open for the Jacob Akana band, which has been sort of my way into playing at the Dip, you know, and we've been doing these opening bids, and these bands are coming in, and a few of them have had records, and I bought every single one of them.
Nice.
And they've turned into the records that I listen to the most.
That's so cool.
Because they're so I mean, maybe it's just those specific bands' cases, but the records are incredibly good. But there's also something so cool about being like, I know these guys.
Totally. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I lived in Chico. There would be a lot of bands that would stay at my place, like while they're on tour, like stay overnight. And that was kind of one of the things was, you know, like do like a music trade, or like they, as a thank you, they would, you know, give me vinyl or whatever. So I have a bunch of vinyl from just these different bands and friends. And those are some of the ones that I cherish the most, because it's like, one, these people are amazing, but they're also sweethearts, and it's just a good memory to have, you know, like,
Yeah.
it's just neat. Just to, once again, the community aspect of it all. That's really important to me.
It's badass just even owning like a Bell to Beast record. Like, there was something so fun about seeing you play a show while I was on a date having a good time and loving it, and then hearing you say, hey, we have some records coming out, and be like, okay, I'm gonna stay tuned, and then, hey, the records are out, and then I'm like, oh, cool. I that was a thing that I liked. And then, you know, seeing like Temple Music say we have them, and then going there and being like, hey, do you have this? And then
Awesome.
and then I invite some friends over, like the Self Doubt guys yesterday, and one of them makes a Bell to Beast reference, and I'm like, hey, I have the record, and then we're listening to it, and now you're here, and
dude, that's awesome. Yeah, thanks for buying it, man.
yeah. I should have waited, darn it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's all that, you know, any sort of support is like so appreciative, and it's just gonna go back into making more stuff. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of the hope. I'm not doing this just for the like sheer hope of you making more music, but if it does contribute slightly to that, bro, I'm all for it, because Walking on Air, woo. I'll keep coming back to that one for a while.
That's my favorite one to play live. That's a really fun one. Yeah, that honestly, like, it's kind of cool, because that was like a dream come true, playing that punk show, we did all Ramones covers, because that's like one of my favorite bands, and once again, like 3-chord songs.
Yeah.
And to like sing those songs live, and a couple people afterwards said like that was just so much fun, and that was like the best thing to hear. Just like, oh man, like I'm so glad that you had fun, because I had a ton of fun. So glad that we're all just together having fun.
Yeah. Do you think you guys will do something like that again?
I hope so. Like, it's cool because the other guys, I don't think they knew like some of the Ramones songs, but not a lot of them, and they learned all the songs, and I already knew a majority of the lyrics, but then they were like, dude, Ramones rule.
Yeah.
So by the time we were playing the show, we were all like in it, and having a really good time. So I hope that they do something like that again. That'd be fun.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick. There was a lot of cool. I play in a band with Eric Klein right now.
Oh yeah, Eric played that show.
Yeah, he was playing with Don't Care or something. Yeah, he has that.
Dude, they were so good.
He has that Rickenbacker bass that he brings everywhere.
Eric's rad. Yeah, he joined us. He like was kind of like a roadie years ago. This is probably like almost 10 years ago. For Bell to Beast, we played a show in Chico, and he was just like hanging out, and like went down in the van with us and helped us like load our gear up and just hanging out. He's like the coolest guy. He's the coolest dude. Yeah, we with Omnipotent, we practice over at his place, and it's just, not only is it like a beautiful home, but it's it reminds me a lot of my space, just like walls covered in art, but his is cool. Like floor to ceiling, and there's really good stuff and like positive affirmations written on the wall that awesome. That just center you immediately. It's just a really cool spot, and he's a great musician. I mean, he just kind of finds the pocket and goes along with the bass, man. And there's been times I'm playing drums in that group, and there's times where it's one of those moments where we just kind of look at each other and we're like, all right, locked in. Yeah, we're locked in. Yeah. That's awesome. How long have you been playing drums? Dude, I refurbished and started learning how to play a drum set in 2020 during COVID time. I played like Rock Band as a kid growing up. I kind of had a little bit of that coordination. And then I had this drum set, and when I moved here, it was just like
I would take it places. I'd take it to a friend's house, and I just was I didn't want to lug it upstairs, so I gave it to the Beats from the Core drum school. If you know Jeremy over there, that dude's pretty cool. And then someone asked me to play drums in a band, and so then I bought a new compact drum set that I have here, and I've been towing that around, and played a little bit with Rachel. Had a brief couple practices with like a punk band that I just got too busy for, but I finally found, Rachel Beck, Eric Klein, and Alex Belden, who's the GM at the Cascade Theater.
Oh, cool.
And we all come together and jam. And Eric has a drum set already there. It's like the best drumming gig because I'm not lugging around a kit everywhere. I just, for practice at least, I just show up. There's a kit, lock in, find the groove. This could have been a compliment, but it could have also been like a backhanded compliment, but it wasn't from these guys. They said, "We really like the way you drum because it's constantly like you're just trying to figure it out." But it's I think what they mean is I'm just trying, like I'm working so hard to get us to that point where we're just like locked in and present. Like I don't want to just like sit down and be like, okay, this is the part, dun dun,
right.
I'm just like, I'm like, I've never played the same thing twice, and I probably never played a single song perfectly, but we have gotten to moments where it's like, wow, that's cool.
It's amazing how the drummer can totally change like the sound and the feel of a band. Like our drummer in Belle de Beast, Kevin, he's an amazing drummer. He's very loose, and like the way that just his style, what he brought to the songs was totally different than Kyle, our current drummer, who's very like, he's like kind of a trained like punk, drummer, just like very regimented and super tight. It's totally different styles. They totally work great. But I don't think I realized like, wow, you can have a drastically different sound. Even if you're playing the same kit, just the person behind it can totally change how it sounds. It's probably a very simple thing that many people have realized, but it just came to me recently. I was like, wow, this is wild.
It's cool to have kind of like found a pocket that works with drumming, because I wouldn't be the first guy to raise my hand and say, like, when someone says, "Hey, we're a band looking for a drummer," because I'm not very regimented. And if they said, "Will you play it like that?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll try and figure it out." That's probably not what you want to hear. Like, but with Rachel, like, I kind of honed my drumming skills just jamming with her. You know, I brought my kid over to her place, and we would just, she'd just play guitar and sing, and I'd drum along, and it was sort of in those moments where I kind of treated the drums more as like a musical instrument and less as like just like a percussive force, like every tom, like every drum you hit in a certain spot makes a unique sound, and just kind of treated everything as like an independent source of music, which it kind of is. But I had that sort of epiphany, and then, drummed in a small band for a few rehearsals, 5 or 6, and finally got the invite from Rachel to come back and be in like a full band. Nice. And I found drumming to be a lot easier with like a bass and a keys player as well, because you have those dynamics. Yeah. And it's a lot easier to ssort of find that dynamic flow.
Yeah, and you have kind of another part of the rhythm section that you can lock into. So I'm in this band, the Crooked Timbers, and so we all live in different cities, and we put albums out like every 7 years or something. And this last one we did, we like demoed everything, remotely, and then we did like 2 weekends where everyone came to Reading and we recorded it. Yeah. But we did all of the music first and then the drums last, and it was like and with stand-up bass. So there's like bowed bass. And looking back, I feel so bad because Tyler, our drummer, he was like, he did an amazing job, and I don't know how he did it. But that's after the fact. He was like, dude, like, this is crazy. This is insane. Like, usually you would track the drums.
It's the first, exact opposite of the typical approach. Yeah.
And he did a great job, but it was wild. So just trying to find the pocket. So he was like, the next album we do, can we like not do that? But that was a fun experience.
I've had the dream of doing like having the studio setup, or like the home, like a studio in a home setup where you have your drummer in one room and and everybody's recording live but isolated and connected with good monitors that are hearing the band the way you need to hear
Capture
it.
like that real. I mean, how they used to do it like in the 60s and stuff, just one big room and you just kind of play the songs. I don't know how. I mean, just great players, you know, just how it sounds so good.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah,
I think it's a mixture of, you know, great players and just having the opportunity to try it out in the first place and getting used to that process. I definitely love like well-produced studio albums, you know, where you layer in the tracks methodically and you get it locked in. But I also think, you know, with how important like live shows are and like what does music mean as a whole, you know, like usually we're writing music so we can like play it and bring people together and we all share in it. And I think both approaches are really cool, but I've personally always really wanted to, you know, I can't wait for that to happen when you have a really great live set with your homies and you just sound so freaking good when you play it together that you want to capture that and having like the space and the cables and the routing and the equipment to do it. That's something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. That's what I didn't realize until later on. Just once again, this is a very simple thing, but just practicing really makes a difference. Like with Beldebeest, you know, for so many years it was just sort of like just having fun, and then, you know, oh, let's just practice like the day before the show or the day of the show, and it was more just kind of the rowdiness of it all. But then like with this current lineup and, you know, a couple before, just like practicing once a week, just, you know, go through all the songs and then maybe work on new stuff. And it just makes, I think, the experience for the audience much more enjoyable when it's tight and it sounds good, and, you know, people aren't, you know, watching a bunch of guys, you know, fumbling around. Me fumbling around.
I think that was what I was impressed with when I saw you guys, was how like dynamic the songs are, how many changes there were, like how many moments where it felt like the script just flipped, but the entire band was like on the same page, you know, like it's nice to do. It was just nice as an audience goer to see these things obviously rehearsed.
And you caught us on a real
that
was a rowdy night. That was, looking back, like after the fact, we all kind of like talking about it, and we're like, man, we kind of lost our shit, you know? But in a good way. It's in a fun way. But yeah, it's like, because I like to be able to hear the vocals and like, you know, at the dip, like Heather does an amazing job mixing, and so she's always on it. But hey, it's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah. I can't wait to see you guys play again. I mean, when's the next Beldebeest show?
We don't have anything
because you're kind of getting back.
We don't have anything on the books. Our drummer Kyle, he lives in Davis, and so we kind of just, whenever we get our schedules to work, we go together or come together and practice. But everyone's really good at like sharing ideas via internet, and then Dan and Adam and I will get together and go through stuff. And I think we're just gonna focus on, we have a batch of like demos that we're gonna go through and start weeding through things and write some new stuff.
Dude, I can't wait. I can wait. I'll wait. I'll be patient. I'll be patient. Shoot. What time are we looking at, man? We're looking at 7:38.
Dang.
Hey.
Dang, that's pretty good.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
It doesn't feel like 2 hours has gone
It really
by.
doesn't.
No.
It feels like time has passed, but not 2 hours.
Well, I can't believe you still have stuff after this to do.
I don't know, when Rachel hits you up and says, hey man, you want to like get some tea and chat about stuff, I'm like, yeah, I'll be free like 8ish, a little after.
Nice. That's good.
I'm down for more tea.
Yeah Do you do caffeinated or decaffeinated like this late?
This late, I'd probably go to like an herbal tea. But what I'm just drinking, which is why I'm so peppy right now, I had a little Earl Grey, you know, a little bit of that black tea caffeine.
Yeah, that's like everyone thinks I'm just like sipping on my water, but dude, black coffee. Like,
Oh, black coffee?
nonstop.
Sick.
It's my vice for sure.
Yeah.
So,
I don't do like sugar in my coffee, but I'll throw in some oat milk or something.
Oh, yeah.
You know, yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
I like the non-dairy milk, especially oat milk. Or like white macadamia nut. They make that
I
kind
haven't
of
had that
milk.
one.
It's a little more bougie, but it's
Yeah.
good. It's a little sweeter.
One that I enjoyed was hemp milk. Had that a while back. That was good.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tasty.
I also like doing like smoothies. I'll
Uh-huh.
put like hemp and chia seeds
Oh, nice. Yeah.
in them, but I'll do like a mixed berry, banana, oat milk,
Dang.
hemp chia smoothie.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Dude, I went to Roots recently and got one of their like acai bowls. Yeah. It was hecka good.
Dude, did
Yeah.
you choose your toppings and stuff?
It was delicious.
Yeah.
I think I like even went up to him afterwards like, this was really good.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know what to expect, but it was tasty.
That's what I get there every time I go there, which isn't as often as I'd like. I'd go there every day if I
Yeah, you're
if
not
I
too
could.
far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, not too far. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, Roots is cool.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
What I'm going off track, but for Jacob Akana Bandit, what shows do you guys have coming up?
Dude, we have an interesting slate. April 4th at the Dip, except Danny Lindberg, our bass player, is not going to be there. So I'm actually going to play bass for the first time in the band.
Oh, nice.
So I gotta work on that.
Dude, so you're doing like, you play drums, bass, guitar, do it all.
I tried. Yeah,
that's
I got to
cool.
get my key chops up.
Yeah.
I just do this a bunch.
Yeah, that's good.
But I think eventually with Akana, I'd like to kind of have, you know, like, I play in Epiphone Casino, so I have my like semi-hollow,
Yeah.
and I have, you know, I got my pedal board going, I got cool effects, but I kind of like to have one of those little MIDI keyboards,
Yeah.
and just kind of have like a little station, maybe some perks, and just
Yeah.
like kind of be like the guy that just adds
The
random
multi-instrumental
shit.
guy, yeah.
But try not to be too like over the top and
Yeah.
draw too much attention, but like
You have like your whole station.
yeah. So
What's up with
isolating
that
panels,
guy?
yeah, headphones on.
Well, going back to Wilco, like they have kind of like a few like multi-instrumentalist, you know, sections where they have like their keys, their organs, and then they play guitar on a song and or banjo, and it's so cool because it just changes the landscape of all the different songs. you know?
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Wilco's so good. I saw him open for I think it was Bob Dylan at Shoreline Amphitheater.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember when
Dang.
they played those shows?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I've been to Shoreline a bunch. I actually saw Wilco there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Bob
I
Dylan.
saw Wilco, and I think it might have been like, I forget who My Morning Jacket.
Yeah.
I think it was Wilco, My Morning Jacket, and Bob Dylan.
Really?
But I think it was My Morning Jacket, Wilco, Dylan.
Oh man, dude,
Yeah.
Jim James from My Morning Jacket. He's like one of my favorites. He's
Oh,
so
no
good.
shit.
Yeah, he's amazing. His solo stuff is really good. If you haven't checked it out,
No.
I recommend it. It's really good. Each album's like a totally different thing, but his voice. What I love about his vocal delivery is like he just belts it out, and he'll have like his voice will crack, and he might hit like a note that's a little off, but he's like,
Yeah.
sounds great, and it's so good.
Yeah.
Like there's no auto tune or anything.
We
you
need
know?
more. We need more of that.
Oh yeah. I love that kind of stuff. You know, but whenever I'm like, you know, recording with other people, it's, you know, they might do like a certain vocal take, and like, I don't know, it's like, no, that was perfect. Like it has character. Like
Yeah.
when everything sounds so perfect, of course, like every genre is different, and like you're saying, like production wise, like I love super crisp, perfect pop. Like I love that. Like,
Yeah, we do.
Justin Bieber. I'm wearing a Justin Bieber shirt right now.
Let's
he's
go.
Like, he's one of my favorites.
Yeah, Carly Rae Jepsen. She's my pop idol.
See, yeah. I mean, I love it, but at the same time, it's like some of those vocal things. If you hit a wrong note, it's like it gives it character. That's you know.
I was listening to a story of, I think it was the Rack and Tours, and it was I I think it might have been, it was either Jack White or Brendan Benson, and they were recording guitar for a track, and they go into the studio, they plug in this acoustic guitar, he tunes it up perfectly, and he strums the chords along with the song, and him and the engineer look at each other, and they're like, and he looks at the engineer, he's like, this doesn't sound good, and the engineer tells him, your guitar's too in tune. So he just slightly detuned it, strummed the same chord, and it just like cut through.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. That's it's always fun, like you know, one of those like wall pianos like in someone's house.
Yeah.
Like if it's kind of clunky and out of tune, like if you tune your guitar to that,
Yeah.
it'll give sort of like this wobbly sound that's so rad.
It'll become something you've never heard before because it's
Yeah.
not tuned to those same standard original
and
notes.
then it makes everything else like, oh, now I have to adjust my voice, I have to adjust the bass. I
Yeah.
mean, and it's gonna sound weird and cool.
Dude,
you know?
I was an acoustic opener for a 420 like bike gang heavy metal show. I don't know how I got on this bill, bro, but I drove out to the middle of nowhere.
Oh wow.
To this like row of warehouses, and what were we were talking about? What were we? Oh, tuning. And long story short, played my set, and the guys, I think heavy metal guys are some of the nicest guys in the world.
Yeah.
They were just like literally so supportive. They're like, that's the kind of music we need in the world, man.
Oh,
Because I was
that's
playing,
cool.
you know, my peace and love songs
yeah.
at the show, and people were yelling, play something heavier, and I gave them like my A minor song or something, you know, something heavier. But afterwards, these metal band, they have this wall of sound, and they all start tuning their instruments, and they go wow, and none of them are looking at tuners. They all just looking at each other.
Oh,
and
wow.
they just like tuned all their instruments to each other as the band, and then they launched into
That's
it, and
cool.
it was just so on it, and it blew me away.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I also saw this other guy, and he was like, I was playing at a Lakeshore Inn and Resort, and Noah Cook was there, and this dude goes around and plays piano everywhere, and he's cool, and he's tuning his guitar, and he like tuned all of the strings in the middle of the guitar, and he's like, yeah, you know, if you tune it in the middle, then it'll be like that'll be your equilibrium, so it's not like it's really in tune down low where you tuned it, but you move it up and it starts maybe if your neck's not well adjusted or something.
Oh, interesting.
And so he like tuned his guitar to the middle of his and then he started playing. And who knows if it made it sound better or not, but it just, the way people approach tuning is so interesting.
It really is. That's something I have not really experimented with, is like alternate tuning at all.
Neither have I.
And I find it interesting, and reading or hearing about certain bands that I was listening to an interview with Sleater Kinney, and Carrie Brownstein was saying like all of their songs are tuned in, it was like C# or something like that, and I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. Like, because when you try to play along with that, and you're like, I can't figure it out. It's like, oh, it's in a totally different tuning.
Yeah.
But it gives it can give like a really dark, different sound.
I feel like we need to start like normalizing alternate tunings.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that we have to do, because to look at this instrument and to think that it can only be structured like, I know we don't think that it can only be structured in the standard tuning, but right. I think I shy away from alternate tunings mainly because I know I'm gonna have to tune it back.
I was just say I don't, cause out of laziness.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, especially live. I mean, I guess you could bring like a second guitar and have it tuned, but it's like, I don't want to have to tune my guitar between songs, like all these different. I can barely get my guitar in tune, in standard tuning.
I can get like one quick drop D on the E string, you know, and then good enough. But like a full like open string thing where you're just like using your finger and going up and down and playing weird licks.
It's people that do it. It's kudos.
Yeah.
That's well done.
You see them show up on like Instagram too, these people that are just playing these cool open tunings. I'm like, shit, it sounds good. Come on, man.
Yeah, I know. It's so cool. I imagine it would just open up so many different possibilities for songwriting and just like vocal melody choices. And I think I'm going to do it. I think we should do it, man.
I think we should. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Okay. This is going to be good.
next time we see each other, it better be like, what alternate tuning did you write your new song in?
Yeah. No, that sounds good. I'll get your number and we'll send demos and stuff.
Yeah.
Encourage one another.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Love it. Love it. Well, shoot, bro. I think since we are approaching 8:00,
Yeah.
it might be a good time to wrap up, but maybe we could send it off with a final song
Yeah.
if you want.
Yeah. That sounds good. I'll have to think of one.
or not. It's all good.
No,
man.
yeah, I'll do just a really quiet, mellow one. Just kind of.
Oh, and we can like fade it out from there.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to.
Oh, yeah. No, like, yeah.
This one's kind of a lullaby. Actually, funny story. One of the biggest shows I've ever played. I opened for an artist at I can't remember what it's called. It's a theater in Chico.
State Theater.
The El Rey. El Rey Theater.
Yeah.
And they called me up like the day before and like, hey, we need a local opener. Can you do it? And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And so I was playing this song, and there's this guy in the front row, and he was like, "You're putting me to sleep." So now I play it every show just to prove a point.
You should have worn your shirt that said, "You're putting me to sleep."
I thought it was really funny, but at the same time, it kind of does put you to sleep. So he was kind of right.
Yeah.
But it's a good way to end the evening.
Yeah.
You know, people kind of winding down for the night.
Yeah, and since we have to switch some cabling over, I'm going to say my farewell right now. Thank you for tuning in to The Reading Sound. We've been here with Zach Zeller. He's in a bunch of projects, but also Bell to Beast. And that's how I got introduced. And coming up tomorrow, Casey Bales from Well Played. And he also runs like an apparel line, Hauntless Apparel, and does a lot of local theater. So him and I are going to have a bunch to talk about. And then next Monday, my sister, Melody, is going to zoom in from New York. And we're going to get our faces on the screen. And she said she's going to interview me. We'll see how long that lasts
awesome.
before it turns into a total shit show. Because her and we have a really interesting dynamic. I have 3 older sisters. She's the one that's like 2 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
And then the other ones are like 8 and 10 years
dang.
older. So
That's going to be fun.
yeah, it'll be fun. She's the one I like grew up with, you know, so
Right on.
that'll be interesting.
That's cool.
But that's kind of what I got going on for the show. And people have been reaching out. I think we're going to get Adam from Furlough Fridays.
Awesome guy. Yeah.
We're going to get
Adam's great.
him on the show. And there's some other people coming up, just no official dates yet. So,
Dude, Reading Zine Fest, I think you're going to, that's a
yeah.
trove of people to tap into.
Yeah, I'm so stoked for that, honestly. But
thank you for having me, Daniel.
Yeah,
appreciate
dude.
it, man. Like, this is really fun.
Heck
It's
yeah,
always
brother.
it's always good talking with you, dude.
yeah, good vibes. So let's one more song, and thanks for tuning in, y'all.
Today marks the beginning as I set sail towards a new. And there are things I don't like, so I'll split my problems in two. And I am smarter than the average man. Use my friends to carry out my plans. Give me numbers, turn them into gold. Send me change
I fall.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, dude. See ya.